Hello, my name is Julian Hobson, Policy Officer in the Customer and Exchequer Service. I'm going to try and put the welfare reforms into some sort of context so that you can understand what the implications are for the residents of Kirklees, what the implications are for the authority as a whole, and what your role will be in trying to assist people through this difficult time. So, why are things changing? In 2010, the government brought forward a paper which suggested that the expenditure on welfare at the moment was too high and that the system needed to change to address that. And to give you an example, the government are concerned that expenditure on housing benefits is currently £21 billion and they want to cut that by £2 billion. Obviously the implication is that there will be less housing benefit paid out and therefore people are going to have to find some sort of solution to that problem. They've also introduced, or are introducing in 2013, a new benefit called Universal Credit. And Universal Credit means that some of the old benefits, what DWP called legacy benefits, will need to change earlier than Universal Credit to help bring those changes in. And I'll give you some examples of how those things are changing too. I'm going to concentrate on 4 changes to the welfare system, which we believe will create the greatest contact for frontline staff. The first of those is a change that happened on the 6th of April this year. It used to be the case that couples that were in work and claiming working tax credit could work 16 hours per week and get working tax credit. That's now changed. So they now need to work between them 24 hours per week, and obviously that means that people will be looking for more hours from their employer or new jobs to bridge that gap. The average loss per week for those families is £70, and that's quite significant when your income's low. The second change that I want to concentrate on is in April 2013, the maximum out-of-work benefits that anybody can receive will be £26,000 per year. So that's the total of maybe job seekers allowance, child tax credit, child benefit and housing benefit will be £26,000 per year. All the families affected will be receiving a letter from the government in May this year so that they can look towards finding work before April 2013. If they find work, their in-work benefits will not be capped and they'll be able to restore their income to the same sort of level as it was previously. We need to do some more work on this, but the intention is that we will be advising those people and liaising with Job Centre Plus to try and find employment. The third change is that 2012 is the year when most people's transitional protection in housing benefit comes to an end, and they will find that potentially their rent exceeds the housing benefit that they receive and they need to find somewhere cheaper to live. The fourth change is that from April 2013, anybody that lives in social housing, that's a Kirklees neighbourhood housing property or a property that's rented by a housing association, and they've got a spare bedroom, will find that there's a penalty applied to their housing benefit. 1 extra bedroom means that their benefit will be reduced by 14%, 2 extra bedrooms or more and it will be reduced by 25%. So that's quite a significant reduction, and we need to work with those families this year to find them more suitable social housing, or indeed for them to move into the private rented sector. So that's 4 significant challenges and a significant number of people affected. To take that group as a whole, there could be around 8,000 families affected by those changes. What's the authority doing to help these people? I'll just list a few things that we're doing. We've been working for the last 12 months on making sure that we get the right people around the table. So that's our partners in Job Centre Plus, in the Citizens Advice Bureau, in the neighbourhood action teams, Kirklees Neighbourhood Housing, and I could go on, but we're trying to get the right people around the table so that everybody understands what's happening. We've also produced a tackling poverty strategy, which is actually about bringing all of the different services together and understanding what contribution they can make. We are working across West Yorkshire to provide a website for landlords to advertise the properties that they've got for rent and for people to find out that those properties are available and make contact with landlords, and that's called letshelpyou.co.uk. We're working with Job Centre Plus to understand what support we can give people to find employment at the right number of hours so that they don't fall into that tax credits trap that I talked about earlier. We're doing this DVD, which will make sure that our frontline staff have got the understanding that's required in order to deal with the inquiries that they're likely to receive. And we're also having a lot of direct contact with tenants through bespoke letters, tenants and residents actually, through bespoke letters that identify how they are affected particularly and what they can do to help solve their own problems. And we're still working on understanding the numbers of people affected and how these different things combine to affect people, because one of the main messages has to be that people are affected by more than one change. So if you were to get an inquiry today from somebody that came in wanting to know about, for example, the £26,000 benefit cap in April of next year, it will be important to understand whether or not they were impacted by the tax credit changes and by the other housing benefit changes that are happening this year, in order that we can give the proper advice to individuals when they come through our doors. We hope, having watched this DVD, that you feel better informed. We're not expecting you to become benefit advisors, but we do expect that you will know where to signpost people and to identify when somebody might benefit from some more specialist advice. We'd also recommend that you advise people to read the letters that they do receive very carefully and to get advice from the right people. That you get involved in any neighbourhood activity that's directed at these or any other initiatives for that matter, and that ultimately you feel comfortable dealing with that level of inquiry and are happy that you've introduced people to the people that can actually deal with the sort of nuts and bolts of the inquiry, and that you make a difference.